Baruchim Aboyim B'Shem Hashem, all of you that came to learn together with the yeshiva. I'd like to extend a mazel tov to all of the Talmidei Yeshiva on the amazing event that we had, the fundraiser leading up to SuperSeder, and its tremendous success. B'shus the Mashkiach Shlita, Rabbi Rosenbaum, Rabbi Glazer, all the Rabbonim, Talmidei Chachomim. When I approached Ramaylich about speaking here in yeshiva, so his gabbai said, write a letter to Ramaylich so that he should be able to look at the letter before he comes to understand. It's a little foreign to him, the culture. And what I wrote to him is that it's not as important how much time he spends here in the yeshiva, just the fact that he agreed to come and gives chashivas to the Maimed that he was going to be here. That enough already says a tremendous amount. That Ramaylich would take of his time to come. He was going to come special from Bnei Brak just to come to speak in the yeshiva. The Maisa, there were events that happened over the past few days. Last night, the yeshiva stopped in the middle of our Malava Malka to go to the Levaya. Ramaylich came for the Levaya also, and he took it very much to heart. And they called tonight and said it's too much for him to be able to come back again to Yerushalayim. And in general, he's not in a matzav where he feels like he could come tonight. So he wanted very much to be here, and he said he's a Baal Choiv. He'll come back, Be'ez Hashem, to the yeshiva at a different time. But the fact that Ramaylich was going to come, that itself already says a tremendous amount about what we're doing. We've had Rabbi Ephraim Waxman, who came last year from Chutz La'aretz just to be able to be Mechabed the Maimed. Rabbi Tzvi Meyer used to come year after year. Rabbi Nissen Kaplan has come. Every year, for many, many years, we've had the schus of having the Rosh Hashiva, Rav Shmuel Baron, come in the morning. And Rav Baron gives so much energy and so much enthusiasm, and he takes of his time to get up so early in order to electrify the Olam. It's not SuperSeder without Rav Baron, and I asked him to come here tonight, earlier in the night, because he always comes later, and the Olam's already a little bit worn out, even though there's still so much life. But to be able to see the Beis Medrash packed, I wanted that Rav Baron should have that opportunity. He's here with us. I'd like to ask the Rosh Hashiva to please share with us some Divrei Torah.
Rabbi Isai, just to walk into this base medrash, to watch the Olam, to hear the Olam, to hear the Kol Torah, to hear the Nachas Ruach, to Bayrei Kol Olamim, for such a scene. Rabbi said, I was not planning on saying this, but as I saw it, and we started dancing and singing, Oise Nachas Ruach Liyotzroi, before I tell you what my message is to you, I want to first tell you, what does it mean? Oise Nachas Ruach Liyotzroi. What does it mean, Oise Nachas Ruach Liyotzroi? Rabbi Isai, I'll tell you what Oise Nachas Ruach Liyotzroi is. You ready? You ready, Rabbi Isai? I'm going to tell it to you. 3 words is Oise Nachas Ruach Liyotzroi. I'm going to tell it to you. Rabbi Isai, you'll never forget it for the rest of your lives, because you're going to be so shocked at what Nachas Ruach Liyotzroi is. Rabbi Isai, Nachas Ruach Liyotzroi is cinnamon mint tea. You'll never forget that. Nachas Ruach Liyotzroi is cinnamon mint tea. Moishle, 15-year-old kid living in Flatbush. His parents went to a chasana. They came back. He was waiting for them to come back, 10:30 at night. Tati puts the key in the door. Tati walks in. Right behind him is mommy. And as they're walking in, the phone rings. Moishle goes to pick up the phone. Hello? And he says, Tati, your friend Chesky's on the phone. Tati goes to the phone. Chesky, I don't know what you called me up about, but I got to just tell you something. I was by a chasana tonight. You should have just seen the chandeliers, the flowers, the smorgasbord. Wow! The dinner, the sude. Is there Mr. Sharm there somewhere? Mr. Sharm. And dessert. Dessert was apple strudel with cinnamon minty. Chesky, we grew up together. You went to kindergarten together. We went to elementary school together, went to high school together, went to yeshiva together. We were in Carl for 5 years together, and we're shutfin in the business together. You know me for 38 years. You know how much I loved cinnamon, how much I went meshugeh on mint. I saw those teas. I just drank 4 right then and there. Then I guzzled down another 7 afterwards, and then slowly I sipped through another 6. That was 18 cups of cinnamon mint tea on one sitting. Chesky, I can't begin to tell you. They carry on the conversation. 3 months later, it's the middle of the winter, Moishle's father, sitting in the dining room. Moishle, do me a favor. Make me a cup of tea. My throat is hurting me. I feel congested. Tati, are you in a rush? He said, how long does it make a cup of tea? How much time do you need? Tati, give me a half hour. Moishe dashes out of the house. Runs to the super. Runs to the Kolboy. Runs to this. Finally, on the other side of town, he finds a kiosk which had 1 tea bag of cinnamon mint tea. Moshe comes home, it's 28 minutes already, boils up the kettle, makes the cup of tea, brings it to his father. His father's expecting a Fasatsky, maybe a Lipton lemon. He makes a shackle, he takes a sip. Moshe, what's this? he says, Tati, you don't like it? I love it. But how did you know? I never asked you for this. But Tati, I heard you on the phone speaking to Chesky how much you like cinnamon minty. I never knew. But Maishale, I never asked you. Says the Helike Mesilas Yesharim in Perek Yud Ches of Mesilas Yesharim, Kimat, the shortest Perek. Ches is probably a little bit shorter. And he says, word for word of what I just told you, what Nachas Ruach Liyotzrei is, word for word, he just doesn't say the word cinnamon minty. He says Nachas Ruach Liyotzrei is, says the Heilik Mesilas Yesharim. Rabbi said, I wasn't going to talk about this b'chalal, but you started singing the song and just sing what was going on. Zok the Heilik Mesilas Yesharim. What is Nachas Ruach Liyotzrei? What is Nachas Ruach Liyotzrei? Perek Yud Ches. Zok the Heilik Mesilas Yesharim. Nachas Ruach Liyotzrei is just like. This is my, right here. Here we go. Here it is. Here we go. Here we go. Ashrei Adam Shamoli Batois Nachas Liyotzrei Zog the Helike Mesilas Yesharim Ay Misha Oyev Esaboyre Yisborach Ava Amitis. Somebody who loves the Rebbeinu Shalom, a real Ava, he will never ever look just Yaitze zu sein. I was Yaitze in a mitzvah. Never. Now what will he do? What will happen to him? Yikralai, K'moshe Yikra, I got the mashal from him. El Ben Oyev Aviv, a child who loves his father. If the father would just express a tiny expression that this is something that I like, the son who loves his father will go to the nth degree, even though his father only said it one time and a chatzi dibur, a half a word, but the kid understands. This is what the father likes. This will be a nachas ruach. Kloloi shel davar, says Mesilas Yesharim, between any two beings, that there's a loving bond between them. Whether it's husband and wife, whether it's friends, whether it's a father to a son to a father, a person will never say, you didn't ask me for more. Wife, darling, but you never asked me for chocolate donuts. I passed by, I know you love, but you never asked me for them. Ach, and vey for such a marriage, Rachmana litzlan. You better get to your Seder Sabayis. Darling, he'll never say, I was yaitz, I did what I had to do. I'm not going to do more. Zok the Heilik Mesilas Yesharim. So too, somebody who loves the Rebbeinu Shalom, that's also a bond of love. And all the mitzvahs of the Torah is just a blueprint to understand what HaKadosh Baruch Hu really wants. And you take every mitzvah to the nth degree, not just Yaitze zu sein. Yeah, Yaitze zu sein. First Seder, second Seder, ninth Seder, you're a Yaitze. This is Nachas Ruach Liyotzrei. This is going to bring Beis HaMikdash, Rabbi Isai. This is going to bring Beis HaMikdash. I was standing, I remember it was Shabbos, Parshas Vayikra, I'll never forget it. I was standing there by Kriyas HaTorah, and the Balkaira was laning, and the beginning, the first Parsha Vayikra, Oilas Nedava, Ishay Reach Nichoyach, a gewaldige smelling thing, says Rashi. What's Reach Nichoyach? You ready for the words? Nachas Ruach, those same words. Nachas Ruach lefanai. Shamarti, I said, V'na'aseh ritzoni, and my will was done. Whoa, I saw those words. It was Shabbos by Kriyas HaTorah. What? Amarti v'na'aseh ritzoni? I said, and my will was done. Either Rashi should say, Amarti v'naseh masha amarti. I said, and what I said was done. Or, Ratzisi, I wanted v'naseh ritzayni, and my will was done. But Amarti v'naseh ritzayni, apples and oranges. What's that parsha in Vayikra talking about? It's talking about Oilas Nedava. What's Oilas Nedava? Volunteer, a donation. You never have to bring an Oilas Nedava. Loi Charva Yerushalayim. Churban Beis Hamikdash came for what? Shehemidu Dinehem Al Din Torah. Because they lived al pi Shulchan Aruch. Churban. What? Isn't that beautiful? Living al pi Shulchan Aruch. It's gewaldig. That's Churban. You want to know why? Because what's Beis Hamikdash? Nedava, do you ever have to bring it out as Nedava? Never! But says Rashi, that's Nachas Ruach. Amarti. I said, there's an option, there's a possibility of bringing Oila. You don't have to. But from what I said, Naseritzayni, you understood what I want. That is Nachas Ruach. That is Nachas Ruach. That is Oilas Nedava. That is Beis Hamikdash. You'll get a lot of Olam Haba if you do mitzvahs. But Beis Hamikdash, the Chefze of Beis Hamikdash is La Sois Ritzaynai. Oi, to understand what the Rebbeinu Shalom says, to understand his Ratzayn. Hey, Rabbi, so you know what? This mamish ties into what I'm going to speak about. It does. It really does. Wow. It's good. Whoa, it's good. Just change around the order a little bit. First, I'll just tell you what I wanted to start off with. I wanted to start off with Be'etzim. I was going to start off with Rabbi Isai. I wanted to come here just to look at you, to gaze upon your faces. I wanted to come just look, see your faces, and I'll tell you why. I read something a few years ago, and it made, wow. Rabbi Isai, the Heilige Chafetz Chaim. The Heilige Chafetz Chaim. Rabbi Isai, you ready for this? This is powerful. Rabbi Isai, understand, know, recognize, chap, who you are! Who you are! The Heilige Rebbe Chanan Wasserman, Talmud of the Heilige Chafetz Chaim. Until the end of the Chafetz Chaim's life, Rebbe Chanan had a Mesivta at Yeshiva Ktana, what today was called the high school, Yeshiva Ktana Mesivta. He used to go, even though he had a yeshiva, every year Yom Narayim until the Chafetz Chaim was nifter. He went Yom Narayim to the Heilige Chafetz Chaim, and he used to tell Bacharim, come along with me, get a chance to look at the Heilige Chafetz Chaim, because in this world you'll be able to see him, but in the next world you're not going to be able to see him. One year, 3 Bacharim went. One of the Bacharim was, at the time, his name was Shmuel Baron, the future Rosh Yeshiva of Yeshivas Mir, Hagoyin HaGodol HaTzadik, Rabbeinu Shmuel Baron, Zecher Tzadik V'Kodesh Livrocha. He was one of the Bachim, a 14-year-old kid that went, and he said over. After Rosh Hashanah, they went into the Chafetz Chaim to say goodbye. And the Chafetz Chaim said, the Chafetz Chaim just took the whole thing and turned it upside down. And the Chafetz Chaim said, it's so good that you came to say goodbye, because I wanted to look at you one more time. And he told them as follows, why? When Yankov Avinu found out that Yosef was alive, what was his first reaction? What did Yankov Avinu say? Eilech ver'enu. Let me go and see him. What are the next 2 words? B'terem amus. Before I die. What in the world, says the Chafetz Chaim, does Yankov have to add those words before I die? Because I want to see him. What's this B'terem Amos? Superfluous, redundant, miyutar. It's out. What's this B'terem Amos? Told them the Chafetz Chaim. Yankov Avinu was giving them a message. I better go before I die to see him. Listen to what he said. Us, myself, says Yankov Avinu, with the children, the Yud, the other 11 children, we were together. Some grew a little bit more, a little bit less, but we're all more or less in the same realm. We'll come to Elam Emes after 120, we'll all be in the same place, more or less. Yosef HaTzadik was there in Mitzrayim by himself, a 17-year-old Bacharel. No parents, no siblings, no friends, no yeshiva, nobody. Just in a Mitzrayim with 9/10 of the znus, of the zima of the world went to Mitzrayim. 10 cabin went to the world and 9 took Mitzrayim. The nisyonis that Yosef HaTzadik went through. When we're going to come to the next world, I am not going to be able to see Yosef HaTzadik. I better go and see him now. B'terem Amos. So said the Chafetz Chaim. And the Chafetz Chaim feared us. Why am I telling this to you, Bachram Lach? It's so good you came to see me. And the Chafetz Chaim said, I was also a Bacher once upon a time. I also had my challenges. But it doesn't compare to the challenges that you young people are going through. The Chafetz Chaim said that in 1929 and 1930, 90 years ago, 90 years plus years ago. Rabbi Isai, and he said to them, so I'm pleased to see you now, because in the next world, I'm not going to be able to see you, because you guys stood up to those challenges. That was 90 years ago. Rosh Yeshiva Rabbi Center, Rabbonim, myself, we were also Bachrim. In today's day and age, we also had our challenges, but it doesn't come to the challenges that you youth are going through. From technology to monology to to all that there's going on in the world. And here you guys are not stamming Eretz Yisrael, sitting and learning Torah ala Avodah. You're sitting here on a night as this, spending a night, Dveikus L'Bayre Kol Ha'olamim. That's the come. I wanted to come here tonight to look at every single one of you and chop your faces, because I don't believe I'm going to be able to see you guys in the next world. My only bakasha to you guys is one thing, because most of you guys who are the future of Klal Yisrael, I want you guys to know, most of you guys, 20 years from now, 30, 40 years from now, there's going to be lines outside your door waiting for a bracha. I'm going to be there in my 90s. I asked one favor, guys. I came here 4:30 in the morning for many years, and tonight I changed everything around to be able to come here now. When your Gabi tells you that Rabbi Baron is standing in the line, let me go in first, okay? Okay, now let's go to what I want to talk about. We have a few more minutes? Okay. Okay, Rabbi Isai. Yeah, it's mamish this. Yeah. Wow. Beis Hamikdash. Rabbi Isai. Do you know that, unfortunately, not everybody's going to be zoiche to Mashiach? Ritva says there's going to be 2 Tchias HaMeisim. Tchias HaMeisim for those who are going to be zoiche for Yemais HaMashiach, and for those who are not zoiche, and they'll have Tchias HaMeisim after the Yemais HaMashiach. And even the people of Ritva have Tainus, and even those people are alive when Mashiach comes, they will not have a schus b'dafke. Rabbi Isai, but every single one of you here in this room tonight, I could sign the dotted line that you guys have the schus to meet Mashiach Tzidkeinu. Halavai should come b'chayeinu, and even if it's not, you'll be zeicher to Tchias HaMeisa from Mashiach, and I'll explain to you why. Appreciate who you are, what you are. Yankov Avinu makes a tefillah to the Rebbeinu Shalom when Esav is coming to him. Yankov Avinu makes a tefillah. Hatzileini na, save me. Mi'ad achi, mi'ad Esav, from my brother, from Esav. How many brothers does Yankov Avinu have? One brother. He should either say, Miyad Achi, save me from my brother, or say, Miyad Esav, save me from Esav. But Miyad Achi, Miyad Esav is double talk. It's like good day, good, get yontif, double talk. Right? Okay, now, Miyad Achi, Miyad Esav. Says the Heilige Beis HaLevi. The Torah, at the end of it, later on in the same point, Vayishlach, it says, Vayoshav Esav Bayoim Ahu. On that day, Esav took off to Edom. What's it negay when he went? He got out of here, he's out of here. No, Bayoim Ahu. Says the Heilige Beis HaLevi, Yankov Avinu was making two separate tefillahs. One was a tefillah to save him from an Esav. One was a tefillah to save him from an Achi. Says the Beis HaLevi, Esav could get a yid in two ways. He could come like an Esav Arasha, al char b'chatichye. He could come with guns, with arrows, with swords. An Inquisition, a Khamenei, a Hitler, a Stalin. Terrible. But he could come also with an Achi. Let's be brothers. Hine matoivu manoyim, sheves achim gam yochad. Yankov Avinu is begging Hashem, save me from an Esav who wants to kill me. Save me from an Esav who wants to be my brother. Yaakov was so worried about it, even though in the Seder, Esav was before Achi. Esav's coming 400 people. But Yankov put Achi first because that was more devastating and more dangerous than Esav. And that's come the Torah tells us Esav took off on that day that the tefillah of Yankov Avinu was niskabel. He didn't even stay there for 12 hours. Why? Why was Yankov so bothered? I take the liberty, Rabbi Isai, to read a kasha, a tzarech in Gadol, in the Beis Medrash, in front of the Aron Kodesh, because my Rosh Hashiva of Gifter, Zichreinu Levracha, did it also in the Beis Medrash, in front of an Aron Kodesh, and he said over a tzarech in Gadol kasha from nobody else but the Shegitz Mark Twain. A tzarech iyum gadol from the Shegitz Mark Twain. And I say it in the Beis Medrash in front of the Aron Kodesh because my Rosh Hashiva of Gifter did it. Mark Twain, 1897. If the statistics are right, the Jews constitute but 1% of the human race. It suggests a nebulous dim puff of stardust lost in the blaze of the Milky Way. Properly, the Jew ought hardly to be heard of. Yet, he's as prominent on the planet as any other people. He has made a marvelous fight in this world in all the ages, and he has done it with his hands tied behind him. The Egyptian, the Babylonian, and the Persian rose, filled the planet with sound and splendor, then faded to dream stuff and passed away. The Greek and the Roman followed and made a vast noise, and they are gone. Other peoples have sprung up and held their torch high for a time, but it burnt out, and they sit in twilight now or have vanished. The Jew saw them all, beat them all, and is now what he always was, exhibiting no decaying, no infirmities of age, no weakness of his parts, no slowing of his energies, no dulling of his alert and aggressive mind. Maskonas Mark Twain as follows. All things are mortal, but the Jew. All things are mortal, but the Jews. But the Jew. All other forces pass, but he remains. Maskonas Mark Twain. Fred Chagitz Mark Twain. Tzarich liyun gadol. What is the secret of his immortality? So the emes advarim is the T makes all the difference. Take the T out of immortality, and what are you left with? Immorality. Okay, that's not Agav, that's not the Nakuda. But what Lemaise is the answer to his question. Do we know the answer? Do we know the secret? Rabbi Isai, there's something shrekedik. There's something pachadik. There's something which sends a shudder up my spine. Because every single morning, I make that bracha and I beg Hashem. And it used to not make any sense. But I said it because that's the nusach. But look what it says. After Amavir Shena, what do we ask Hashem? Targilenu, Seresecha. Dapkenu, Val, what? Val to the Enu, right? Loidi dechet, Aveir Vavain. Now, is there any better situation than that? You hear that? Rogel and Torah, doing the mitzvahs, no chet, Aveir Vavain. And you know what the next bakosha is? Val Tashlet, Banu, Yetzer Hara. Rebbeinish, after all that, I'm Rogel and Torah, doing mitzvahs, doing no averis, but Rebbeinish Shloilam, the Yetzer Hara should have me by the gargle. What does that mean? I don't know yet, but da steita that it's possible to do Torah, learning Torah, doing mitzvahs, no chet aver v'avain, and you're in the claws of the Yetzer Hara. What does that mean? It doesn't get better. You get to Avarabba. How many bakashas do we make? Avinu v'rachman, rachman, rachman aleinu. And what? Similarly, what? Lahavin, lahask, lishmoy, limud, lamed, lish, rabbalas, gaim, kol, divis, everything. And what's the next bakasha? After those 8 bakashas, lahavin, lahaskil, to understand, to know, to become all the midst, everything. What's the next 3 words? Oy, v'hoyer, einenu, b'sayosecha. Enlighten my eyes with your Torah. What does that mean? Didn't they just say the same thing? Beinu, lahavin, lahaskil, lishvalima, kol terakula. So one brisker guy told me, and I told him with all due respect, that's also a little bit lahavin, lahaskil. What's going on? What is the answer to the tzarchi and gadol of Mark Twain? The Torah tells us the answer. The Heilige Torah tells us the answer. In the end of Parshas Kedoshim, the Torah tells us it's phenomenal. Mavil. Rabbis, I appreciate who you are. Understand, because what you're doing tonight, you are going to have the schus to meet Mashiach because of what you're doing here tonight. Sagt the Torah in the end of Kedoshim, Ushmartem es kol chukoisai, ves kol mishpatai. Do all my mitzvahs, all my mishpat, all my chukim, and vivdalt min abheim ha-Torah, do all the mitzvahs. For what tachlis? V'hiyisem li Kedoshim, and v'avdil es, you'll be for me holy. V'avdil esra min ha'amim, and I'll separate you l'chayr. It means I'll separate you from all the nations of the world. Lihiyois li, to be mine. What's the Torah telling us? What's the tachlis of the whole mitzvahs? to become connected to the Rebbeinu. It's a Rashi, it's not my words. I'm just saying over a Rashi. To be davuk to the Rebbeinu Shalom. This is the secret of Klal Yisrael. The nitziyus of Klal Yisrael. You know why? Because it's li. We are connected to the Rebbeinu Shalom. Rebbeinu Shalom is infinite. Rebbeinu Shalom is nitzchi. Rebbeinu Shalom is internal. Anybody who's connected to nitzchi is connected to eternity, connected to the Rebbeinu Shalom. He is eternal. But Rashi says there's a condition for this all. Doing all the mitzvahs and doing all the good things is not enough. There's a condition. Rabbi Say, listen. There's a condition to be nitzchi, to be eternal. There's a condition. What's the condition? What's the condition, says Rashi. V'avdil esrem min ha'amim liyosli. It's not what Hashem is going to do. Im atem muvdolim mehem. If you're separated from the guy, you live a different lifestyle than the guy, then harei atem shali. It's a t'nai, it's a condition. V'avdil esrem min ha'amim, says Rashi, it's a condition. Im atem muvdolim mehem. You can be doing all the mitzvahs, all the Torah and everything, but if you have to be separated from the way, from the culture, from the anhogit of the goy, then harei atem shali. But v'im love, you can be doing all the mitzvahs, but you're living a different culture, and it doesn't say anywhere in the Torah the aveira of that. Harei atem shel Nebuchadnezzar v'chaveirav, says Rashi. There's a condition. After all the Torah mitzvahs, rogel in Torah, davuk in mitzvahs, no chet aver v'avoin, but the Yetzer Hara, you're in the claws of the Yetzer Hara because you're living a different lifestyle. Yankov Avinu's tefillah was, mi'arochi mi'aresav. This is the secret of our nitzchiyus. Living with an Esav is Rahman al-Itzlan, the antithesis of being a Nitzchi. Rahman al-Itzlan, what kind of influence it can have on me? The Gemara in Gittin says a story, Daf Nun Chesem and Aleph, and the Gemara says this story was the story which was the final signature for Churban Beis Hamikdash. There was an apprentice of a carpenter from a Yid who took a liking to his teacher's wife. But she was an Eishes Ish. He didn't want to touch her. Chas v'sholom, it's an Isser. His teacher, who taught in carpentry, told him one time, I need a loan. Could you lend me money? No problem, send your wife and I'll lend you the money. He sends his wife. He keeps her there for 3 days, didn't touch her, didn't do a thing to her. Kept her for 3 days, gave her the money, and sent her. His teacher meets him, what's going on with my wife? He says, I gave her the money, I sent her back, but I think that she was messing around with the guys on the way home. Umar. She says to him, what should I do? He says, if I were you, I would divorce her. But he says, the ksuba is a big ksuba, it's thousands and thousands of zuz. I'll lend you the money, no problem. He lent her the money, he divorced her, and of course he married her. It came due date to pay back. A Gemara in Gittin, I make this up in Chesem and Aleph. Comes due date. And the guy can't pay it back. He comes to his apprentice, to his Talmud, to his student, I can't pay you back. He says, okay, you know what? Come, be the houseboy, be the, be the custodian in the house, take over the house. And he was there cleaning up and this and that. And this young couple, his ex-wife with this guy, and he's serving them lunch. He brings them 2 cups of wine, and you can imagine the feeling. And 2 tears came out of his eye. 1 tear fell into his cup, 1 fell into her cup. At that moment, HaKadosh Baruch Hu signed the Gzar Din for Churban Beis Hamikdash, says the Gemara. In the back of the Gemara, the Yavitz says, what did the guy do wrong? He lied. He didn't really lie. He said maybe. He said, well, I gave a bad eitzah. That's not enough for Churban. says the Heilige Yavitz. From here we learn, Mikan Nira Borer, that there's a chet, which is not mafurish anywhere, and it's not mavura anywhere, b'shum makom, and it's chomer ma'od, and HaKadosh Baruch Hu hates it more than the most chomer dikaveus of Gilarai, Shechasdam, and Avodah Zarah, to give a punishment to the whole tzibur. And you know why? Because it's keneged the seichel haTorah. Because that, you understand, Torah does not want. There's a mahalich in Torah. The same b'li bein l'havinu l'haskil. I'll know kol Torah kula, but v'ha'areinu b'soyasecha. Torah, enlighten me in the mahalich of Torah. What is the derech? What is the ratzon which the Rebbeinu Shloim wants? I remember my wife had a gan. She had a kindergarten. I was sick one day, and she was singing with the kids. I loved it. Little Tyra, teach me how to live. Something like that. Tyra, I love you. That was beautiful. Teach me how to live. It's not about the mitzvahs and averos. There's a mahalach of Torah. Zogt the Heilige, and with this I'm finishing, Rabbi Isai. Zogt the Heilige Targum Yonason ben Uziel. Says the Heilige Targum Yonason ben Uziel in Parshas Balak. Oh, I just have to tell you one more thing before that. You know, Mike Tress, he was a clean-shaven guy. You know that? Samarov loved him. Must be Tresses here, 8 o'clock. They're all over the place because they're such special people. Every single one of them, they have that neshama, a nitzitz from that neshama of Zayden Elimelech, Zayden Mike. They loved him. Samarov loved him. And one Hasidic, he told him, he came to Samarov one time, someone was so mechabed him, mamish, and a Hasidic guy went over to him, but Rebbe, he doesn't have a beard, he's clean shaven. He says, you're 100% right. Mike is going to come to Shemayim, and they're going to grab him in Himmel. Mike, where's your beard? But there are a lot of guys who are going to come to Shemayim with these big, huge, grizzly beards, and they're going to grab you by the beard, and you're going to say, Bard, beard, where is the Jew? Yeah. Beard, Bard, Avui der Yid. Where's the Yid? Yeah. You're a Tress? Okay, now. You got voice, you hurt? Now let me just finish off. Talking about some Zeal, not to understand. Says the pasuk says, Bilam tells Klal Yisrael on the pasuk of Hein Am Levadod Yishkoin. Klal Yisrael is a nation which is going to be by themselves. Ubagoyim lo yischashav. And in the Umay Sa'olam, they will not be considered. Says the Targum Yonason ben Uziel. What's it talking about? Ha'ama. You ready, Rabbi? Say, hold on tight. Ha'ama. This nation. This I give credit to my brothers, El Gesund and Stark, and he showed me this Yonason ben Uziel. I went to his whole drasha, and he told me this Yonason ben Uziel. It's marvelous. Ha'ama. This nation. Bil Chudayin. Only they. Asidin are going to be in the future lemeichzan alma to inherit the whole world when Mashiach comes. Why? Because ubagoyim lo yischashav mitul. Because you ready? Debinimuse umaya loy medabrin. Because in the ways of the world they don't act. They don't live the culture of the world. What's the key to be Zeicha to Mashiach? Are you separated from that culture? Are you separated from that mahalich? Are you separated from those musagim? Rabbi, say every single one of you here, sitting here tonight and not doing what millions of Mishugayim are doing. That is Binimuse Umaya Loy Medabrin Rabbi Sai. You are going to be the ones that are zeiche to bias Mashiach because hivdilanu minatoyim v'nasan lanu teiras emes. Baruch hu Eloi Kereinu sheberanu v'yich v'loidai. Baruch hu Eloi Kereinu sheberanu